Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Cloud and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing the Sonic the Hedgehog timeline. Ooh, this is basically what I envision to be the Sonic timeline to be. This includes the games, of course. It also includes the shows. No, it does not include the comics, because if it did, then that means we would have to open up a huge can of worms. So, let's go. Alright. First event. Long time ago, the Big Bang creates Mobius. Next up, two beings are born. Light and Dark Gaia. Then Dark Gaia breaks apart the planet. And then the Chaos Emeralds, the Master Emerald, and the Chaos Temples are made by Light Gaia. And then Light Gaia fixes the planets. And then numbers of years later, the Echidna and Nocturnus clan have been formed by adaptation, or put into Earth by God if you're religious. And then the Chow are formed from Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald on an island far away. And then the Echidnas find the power of the Chaos Emeralds. The Echidnas improve their civilization with growing science. Also, something I forgot to mention multiple timelines, because there's time travel stuff going on, answering questions. Sonic timeline's a mess, and also forgot to say when this is. So yeah, sorry about that. 6300 BS. A part of the Echidna civilization. Yeah, they researched more in a brutal way, and then they were arrested for their crimes. Some Echidnas were going to form a colony. Also, I forgot to mention, I know I said no comics, but to explain some things in the games, some comic events might be used. And then attempts but fail on our colony. And then many wanted to relocate. Yeah, so two tribes wanted to relocate. And then the Warrior clan became the Knuckles clan, and the technology part became, what was it again? The Nocturnus clan, yes. And also this is happening in 5000 BS. And then, which is BS, by the way, stands for Before Sonic. And then the Knuckles clan start their civilization near the Master Emerald Shrine. Oh wait, actually, get rid of that event. And then in 4000 BS, we got exposure to the Master Emerald to transform Chow, a Chow? It's really weird. Into the water creature Chaos, as we all know from Sonic Adventure 1, unless you haven't heard of that or played Sonic Adventure 1. Alright, I respect your decision. And then the Chow live in harmony until the Knuckles clan invade their lands and use the Master Emerald against their opponents. And then, in an enraged Chaos, uses the power of the Emeralds to do an act of genocide to the Knuckles clan. Oh, and also I forgot. Spoilers. I'm sorry. I forgot to say spoilers for like a whole bunch of Sonic games. And then let's see. Oh, the leader's daughter Tikal sends herself and the Chaos Emerald into the Master Emerald to prevent the destruction from spreading further. And then in 3000 BS, an asteroid was basically on its route to the island where the Knuckles clan lives, and then scientists basically figure out, hey, we can send our island into the sky, and then they do so, and it's now known as Angel Island. That all happened. Not all of this happened in 1 year, but actually, yes, that makes sense. For this all happening in 1 year, and then yeah, that happened in 3000 BS, and then after that, and then the Gizoids attract the attention of Argus, who steals the Nocturnus clan into the Twilight Cage, leaving the Gizoid as the only proof of the Nocturnus clan. In 2000 BS, or like around that time, the Babylonians are forced to land their spaceship, stranding them on Earth. The Sonic Riders. And then the ship sinks into the depths of Earth, leaving very few survivors. And then the inhabitants of Westside Island discover one of the 7 emeralds and use it to advance their civilization. But in time, it corrupted the power of the emeralds, and the inhabitants lose their prosperity, believing it to be punishment from the gods. And in 1000 BS, evidence of the tribes of the gods, Chaos Emeralds, and the Black Aliens are transported to Earth. And then 50 plus BS, Gerald Robotnik is born. Gerald studies the Echidna and the fighting creature Ifrits. And then Gerald constructs the Space Colony Ark from Sonic Adventure 2, and it's also Sonic the Hedgehog. And then Gerald has 2 grandchildren, Maria and Robotnik, in circa 50 BS. And circa 36 BS, Maria becomes mentally ill, and Gerald works tirelessly to come up with a cure. Gerald contacts the Black Arms to assist him in creating the ultimate form, Sonic the Hedgehog, in return of the 7 Chaos Emeralds. He creates the Eclipse Cannon to destroy the Black Arms upon their return. Gerald finds the final Gizoid and programs it with free will, and he attempts to use the Gizoid as a bargaining chip to continue with his funding. The Gizoid goes on a rampage aboard the Ark and is eventually shut down. Realizing the power of the professor's experiments, the guarding units of the nation, to take Gerald and his experiments to custody. Maria is shot and killed, and Shadow is captured and frozen in a gun facility. And then Gerald makes plans for revenge. Oh, I gotta sit down because my feet are hurting. Let's scoot out this way so that you guys will actually see me. And yeah, Gerald makes his plans for revenge, and then he loses his mind to grieve shortly before his execution. And then Metropolis, and then in circa 24 BS, Metropolis is founded. This is where things start to get a little it's not necessarily now, but like in a little bit things will start to be a little confusing. And then in circa 20 BS, war started in Mobotropolis and many species reigned fear. And then Ivo Kintober and directed forces to help them. Kintobor directed forces to help them win the war. And then in 5 BS, before Sonic, not the curse word. And then Victor on 5 BS, Vector the Crocodile is born. And 3 BS, Rouge the Bat and Big the Cat are born. And 2 BS, Princess Elise III of Soleil is born. And then on 1 BS, Knuckles, the Echidna, and Espio are born. And then 0 AS, Sonic, Sonia, and Manic are born. And then in 1 AS, Lace, the cat in another dimension, is now born. And then in that same year, Sonic, Sonia, and Manic are separated to different parents. And then Amy Rose is born in 3 AS. And in 5 AS, Dr. Robotnik invades Mobotropolis, turning it into Robotropolis. This is the first time in an indirect thing that we actually see something. Actually, I'll cut that out. And then Sonic's new parents are taken, resulting in him to turn to Uncle Chuck. And then shortly after, Uncle Chuck is roboticized. And then there's Solaris project goes awry, and Solaris is split into Mephiles and Niblis. And then the father of Elise steals Mephiles and Iblis respectively shortly before he dies. 1 year later, the series of Sonic Underground starts, where Sonic, Sonia, and Manic, if you don't know, are looking for the mother, Queen Elise. And then after thinking that they killed Robotnik, Sonic, Sonia, and Manic part ways. And also in the same year, Miles Tails Prower is born. 10 years later. Okay, so this is where things start to go awry. So basically, at this point, thanks to Wikipedia of the SatAM the SatAM page of the Sonic Wikia, it shows that that Tails is 10 years old. And in a comic, I know I said earlier that no comics, but some comic things are included to make some canon things more clearer. And in one comic, Sonic says that he is 16. So that basically means that Tails is born in 6 AS, but that kind of goes against all of the games. So that basically means so that basically at this point, Sonic goes to the Freedom Fighters upon hearing that Robotnik is alive. And then there's SatAM. Sorry, if you don't know what SatAM is basically the Sonic the Hedgehog series where Robotnik is like ruler of Robotropolis. The reason why it's called SatAM instead of Sonic the Hedgehog series is because there's already a Sonic the Hedgehog series called The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. And that basically, and then there's basically an episode where Sonic and Sally, where is kind of basically like a squirrel character, along with Sonic, goes back to the past to try to prevent Robotnik from ever going from to invading Mobotropolis. So, here is where my theory of fixing this all up comes. So basically, somehow, some way, Tails is basically born 1 year after he originally is. And basically, in the episode of the time travel, they come back to around the time they leave. But my theory basically means they go all the way, like, to the point where this stuff happens, and then basically means, hey, and then they basically allow time to travel through them on the same time traveling through time. It's a different way of thinking time travel than Endgame has. If you've watched Endgame, so anyway, there's that thing to that, and that basically means he knows all the things. So that basically means it takes less time to get things sorted out for the Resistance than it originally did. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that did. So let's continue on. and then basically the same stuff happens until same stuff happens until 7 a.m. happens again. And then after that, and that basically means it happens at 7 AS. And also AS means after Sonic, basically after the birth of Sonic. For 8 AS, this is basically when Sonic takes Tails with him for adventures. For adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, like I mentioned previously. Now, the reason why I set this after than the other one is because at the end of Sat AM, all of almost all of Robotnik's empire is destroyed, and instead of him building up from like a small thing in the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog up to the big thing, it's the other way around, where it crumbles down to that point, where he actually looks and seems like in the same position as he is in the games. Got that? And then after Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Tails departs. Probably because he found his family on an island. And basically, there's an episode where Tails looks for his family. So there's that. And then at 9 AS, Cream and Charmy are born. Cream and Charmy, like the bunny rabbit and the bee. And then on 11 AS, which is basically when the games start, the first game is Sega Sonic. This happens before. Wait. Actually, no. The first game that actually happens is the first Sonic the Hedgehog game. I don't know why I have that on there. I don't have Sonic 1 on there. And then after that is Sega Sonic, where he actually captures Sonic, and the reason, and that basically shows, basically he's a threat and such. Yep. And then after Sega Sonic is Tails Sky Patrol, where basically shows Tails' adventures at the island. Tails Sky Patrol and Tails' Adventure. Around this time, Sonic is doing Sonic Labyrinth, where he's like, he's alone again. And then Robotnik metalizes Metal Planet, Little Planet. And then Sonic uses the Time Stones to alter the present. This makes another timeline. It changes the timeline, yay! And that basically gives the events to Sonic CD. And then after that is Sega Sonic Cosmo Fighter, where basically he gets like technology or something like that, and he basically beats Eggman up in space. Woo! And then, and also around, like, I believe, I'm gonna say around this time, Sonic and Tails forget about each other, I guess. I don't know. And then in 12AS, basically this is where Sonic and Tails permanently become friends. And then after that is Sonic Chaos, where I don't know much about Sonic Chaos. Let's move on. Sonic Spinball. There's like that pinball game of Sonic. And then after Sonic Spinball is Sonic 2 for the Game Gear. The reason why I have Sonic 2 for the Game Gear and other Sonic 2, other than just having one, is because Sonic 2 Game Gear and regular Sonic 2 are different adventures. The reason why I have Game Gear before is because, well, Sonic 2, 3, and Knuckles are basically one whole adventure. As you can see by the ending of Sonic 2 and the beginning of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So that basically puts Sonic 2 Game Gear before. And then after Sonic 3 and Knuckles is Sonic Triple Trouble, where basically Knuckles is tricked again. You think he'd learned his lesson after the first time? No, he didn't. And then after that is Knuckles Chaotix, where Knuckles is the main character and the Chaotix are along with him. And they fight Metal Sonic 2.0, a different part of a different version of Metal Sonic. Difference from the Metal Sonic than Sonic Fights and Sonic CD. You get me? And then next up is Sonic the Fighters, where it's basically this. It's Sonic Metal Sonic 2.0 again. And then after Sonic the Fighters, there's Sonic Blast in 13AS. So yeah, there's like, from the point Tails and Sonic meet to the last game was 12AS. We start now at 13AS, where it's Sonic Blast, and then Sonic 3D Blast, and then Sonic R, which is a racing game. The next game is actually very, very important, because it's the game where Sonic transforms from his classic days to his modern days, and also Eggman. You'll see what I mean when you look at Sonic Pocket Adventure. And then after that is Sonic the Hedgehog 4, where it takes place after Sonic and Knuckles, as it's canonically. And then after that, we have Sonic X Season 1. Sonic X, baby. And then next up is Sonic Adventure, where it's also part of Sonic X Season 2. And then after that is Sonic Shuffle. The reason why I have this here is because Shuffle was released in between Adventure 1 and Adventure 2. and, and that basically means that in this timeline, Sonic Shuffle happens, but Sonic X never really shows that. Yeah, there's also that. There's also another one, which is later, and then Sonic Adventure 2, which is also in Sonic X Season 2, and then Shadow is found by one of Eggman's robots and is taken to a facility for treatment. And then next is that other game that I was talking about, Sonic Pinball Tournament. You might not have ever heard of it, but all these games that I list do exist. And then the rest of Sonic X Season 2. And basically, after the adventure games, there's still next of Sonic X Season 2. And then, oh, right. So this is the other. This is another confusing part, because we have Sonic X in there, and Sonic X has a character named Cream, like you've heard earlier in the timeline. So that basically shows, hey, Sonic and his friends know Cream. But as shown later in Sonic Advance 1 and 2, Sonic Advance 1 and 2 are actually confirmed to take place after Adventure 1 and 2, by the way. Sonic, it seems like he never meets Cream. I couldn't think of much else other than a memory wipe, so that's the best that you gotta do. Alright? And then, after the memory thing is removed, and like all the memories of Cream are regained, next up is Sonic Jump, where it's released in 2005, but it stopped, but it was released before Season 3 of Sonic X started airing. So there's that. And then after that is Sonic Heroes. We haven't seen Shadow since Adventure 2, and now he's here in Sonic Heroes. Woo! And that basically shows you. And then after Sonic Heroes is Shadow the Hedgehog, where he's basically figuring out his true self. And then in Sonic Battle, he seems to know about his past. That basically means I put Sonic Battle after Shadow the Hedgehog. And then after Sonic Battle is Sonic Advance 3, where there's Cream again, all the characters are around, tag team stuff, all of that. And then Sonic Jump 2, the sequel to Sonic Jump. Next up is Sonic Riders, where it's like that hoverboard. Woo, the first game. This is the first game in that. And then I just love this part. Eggman loses weight because the next game in the timeline, it's that game, Sonic 2006. And 15 AS, Sonic 2006. Oh wait. Oh yeah. Actually, I realized. So anything that was Sonic, that was from Sonic, like Sonic Adventure 2, and after that, before this, was actually in 14 AS. Oopsies. And then, so Sonic 2006. Sonic travels to Soliana for the Festival of the Sun, where Eggman kidnaps Elise. Next up, Shadow arrives in Soliana to help Rouge retrieve the Scepter of Darkness. Mephiles is released from the Scepter and sets for his quest to form Iblis. Then Sonic and his friends are sent 200 years into the future before the egg carrying malfunctions and crashes, killing Elise and releasing Iblis. And then he basically misses a chance, and then missing his chance to be one of Iblis, Mephiles travels 200 years into the future to learn about the other half's release. Shadow is blamed by the incident and sealed in an unescapable cage created by a reprogrammed Omega. In circa 200 AS, Eggman's descendant, Eggman Nega, is born. And then, in circa 201 AS, Silver the Hedgehog is born. And then, circa 215 AS, because it's 15 is because, like, original 2006, Sonic 2006 took place 15 AS. So that basically means it's 215 AS. You kind of get the idea. And then Eggman Nega travels back in time to obtain the Soul Emeralds from the Soul Dimension. And then, in timeline number 4, with Nega's plot foiled by Blaze, he forms an alliance with his ancestor. Oh yeah, I forgot. Mid Sonic 2006, there's stuff going on with Blaze and Eggman Nega. Next up, there's Sonic Rush, and then Blaze goes back to the Soul Dimension while Nega goes into hiding. And then Sonic Advance 3 happens again. Sonic Jump happens again. Well, actually, the remake. And then Sonic Riders again. And then back to Sonic 2006. Sonic travels to Soliana for the Festival of the Sun, where Eggman kidnaps Elise. Shadow arrives in Soliana to help Rouge retrieve the Center of Darkness, blah blah blah. And then let's head back to where we were. And it's 215. What? Where? What? Hold on. Oh yes. So. Oh yeah, there's like a timeline change with right before Sonic Rush. It's timeline number 4. Okay, I think. Okay. Okay, so all right. Timeline number. All right. Mephiles finds information about the Soliana incident and tricks Silver to go back in time to stop the so-called Iblis Trigger. And then timeline number 5, 15 AS, the two arrive to the Festival of the Sun. And then with 15